Nigeria is often described as a country that struggles because of ethnicity. The explanation is usually simple and convenient. Too many groups, too many differences, too much division. But that explanation is incomplete and often misleading. Ethnicity matters in Nigerian politics not because Nigerians are uniquely tribal, but because ethnicity has become a substitute for trust in a weak system. To understand why ethnicity still shapes Nigerian politics, we have to separate everyday reality from political reality. Everyday Nigeria versus political Nigeria. In everyday life, Nigerians coexist constantly. People trade, work, live, marry, and build businesses across ethnic and religious lines. Markets function, cities grow, Lagos, Abuja, etc. None of these places work because everyone shares the same ethnicity. They work because people adapt. If ethnicity were the core problem, daily life would collapse. It doesn't. So the question becomes, why does ethnicity suddenly become explosive during elections and power struggles? Because ethnicity is politically useful. Ethnicity persists in politics because it works. It simplifies complex issues into emotional narratives. It mobilizes loyalty faster than policy ever could. It creates a us versus them framework that makes compromise look like betrayal. When institutions are weak, identity becomes a shortcut. Instead of asking who governs well, who builds institutions, who delivers results, politics become who protect us, who looks like us, who can secure access to power. Ethnicity fills the gap where trust in institution is missing. Colonial borders matter, but not how people think. Nigeria's borders were drawn by colonial powers with little concern for internal cohesion. That is true, but borders alone do not doom countries. Many states inherited artificial borders and still built functioning systems. What mattered more was what happened after independence. Nigeria inherited weak institutions, centralized power, and a state that controlled access to wealth. Instead of decentralizing authority and strengthening neutral rules, became concentrated. And when power is centralized, competition became intense. Ethnicity then became a way to organize competition. Ethnicity as a shield. In Nigerian politics, ethnicity often functions as a protection. When rules are unpredictable and enforcement is selective, people rely on networks they trust. Ethnic and regional ties become insurance. This is not about hatred, it's about insecurity. If the system does not protect everyone equally, people fall back on groups that might. How elites weaponize identity. Political elites did not create ethnic identities, those existing long before modern Nigeria. What elites did was turn identity into a political weapon. When governance fails, ethnicity becomes a distraction. When accountability is absent, ethnicity absorbs blame. When, when policies are weak, fear becomes a mobilizing tool. Ethnicity is easier to sell than reform. It does not require results, it does not require institutions, it only requires emotional loyalty. Why elections amplify ethnicity? Elections in Nigeria often feel existential, not because of ideology, but because of what power controls. Winning elections can mean access to state resources, protection from prosecution, and influence over enforcement. Losing can mean vulnerability. When stakes are high and institutions are weak, people vote defensively. Identity becomes a survival strategy, not a preference. The uncomfortable truth: ethnicity did not break Nigeria. Weak institutions made ethnicity powerful. Strong systems reduce the importance of identity by enforcing rules constantly. Weak systems force people to seek protection elsewhere. Blaming ethnicity alone avoids the harder conversation about governance, incentives, and accountability. Ethnicity still shapes Nigerian politics not because Nigerians are incapable of unity, but because the system rewards identity over performance. Fix the system, and ethnicity fades into the background where it belongs as culture, not politics. Until then, identity will continue to do the work that institutions refuse to do.